Thank you, first of all, for showing up on a Saturday evening. It really means a lot. A project of this scale wouldn't have been possible without an incredible team. And I'm swelling with pride today to invite at least those of them who are here today. I'll start with Santosh Saligram, who is one of the cinematographers and editor. Rakesh Kote, our primary cinematographer. And of course, Anusha Hegde. I'll talk about her a lot more later. She's in the film. You saw her just now. So there'll be a panel discussion with us in a bit. But before that, I also want to invite a couple of really special people. One is Mr. Subraya Hegde, who is here. Uncle Bunny, please. And Savitri Hegde, auntie, please, Bunny. S.R. Ramakrishna, sir. Sir, please come on to the stage. Please. So you saw the Hegde family also on the screen. The story happened to us because of, yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. ಕಾಡಿನೊಳಗೆ ಬದುಕೋ ಜೀವಗಳು ಇವು. Some of the most amazing human beings I've ever met. They have taught me how to be unabashedly emotional and actually express it when you want to. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇರೋ ಒಂದು ಇಡೀ ವಾರ ಬೇಕಾಗಬಹುದು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. An entire week maybe you need to talk to them about it. I just want them to say a couple of words before we do the panel discussion. Yeah, Uncle.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನಾನು ಸುಬ್ರಾಯ ಹೆಗಡೆ, ನಮ್ಮದು ವಾಗಾಚಪ್ಪನಿ ಊರು. ನಮಗಿದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಆಚರಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ಇದನ್ನು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಇದು ತರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೌರಭನ ಹತ್ರ ಈ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಅವಳು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನನಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಈಗ 50 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆಚರಣೆಗಳು ಈಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ದೀಪಾವಳಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಚರಣೆಗಳು, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಜೆಷನ್ನು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗೋದು ಭೂಮಿ ಪೂಜೆಯಿಂದ ಹುಲಿ ಪೂಜೆ, ಹುಲಿ ಪೂಜೆಯಿಂದ ಗೋಪೂಜೆ, ಗೋಪೂಜೆಯಿಂದ ಆನಂತರ ದನಬೈಲು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ದನಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾರ ತುರಾಯಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಮೆರವಣಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಆನಂತರ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ಸಂಜೆಗೆ ಊಟ ಇತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಮರುದಿನ ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಮರುದಿನ ಜಾನಪದ ಆಟಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಊರಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಯೋವೃದ್ಧರಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಮಕ್ಕಳವರೆಗೂ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೊಂದು ತುಂಬ ಸಂಭ್ರಮದ ದಿನ ದೀಪಾವಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ವೃತ್ತಿಗಾಗಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಈಗ ಅವರು ಎಂಥ ಚಂದ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಅಂದರೆ, ದೇವರು ಮತ್ತು ಇದರಿಂದ ಮೂಲಕ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸಿದರು. ಈಗ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮತ್ತು ಹೃದಯಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಅಂತರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ದೇವರನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಸಂಭ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಹಬ್ಬದ ರೀತಿ, ಉತ್ಸವದ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಮುಂದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
We believe music itself tells a story, right? So that was possible only because of veteran journalist, bilingual writer, and music composer S.R. Ramakrishna. Sir.
ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಇವತ್ತೇ ನಾನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ತುಂಬ 15 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಕಂಗ್ರ್ಯಾಚುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸೌರಭ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹರ್ ಟೀಮ್, ಸಂತೋಷ್. ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ರಾತ್ರಿ 9-10 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಕಂಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ತುಂಬ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಲಿರಾಯ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀರೋನೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪುಟಾಣಿ ಆತನು ಹೀರೋ. ಅದೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅವನ ಸೀನ್ಗಳೇ ಭಾಳ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಂಗ್ರ್ಯಾಚುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚೆಚ್ಚು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂಡದವ್ರು ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಆಶಯ.
Now I'm so happy to invite Sonu Venugopal on stage. She is a star. We are such big fans. She's like, don't make it about me, but a little bit about you. So she'll be doing the panel discussion, and then the floor will be open for questions. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much to everyone for coming here. And Saurabha, you wanted to take a picture before? Later. Okay. So let's sit. This is the most intellectual crowd I have ever catered to. So thank you. I'm a comedian. Normally people come to watch me and forget all their worries. This is worrisome. We have to do something about this. Right? I mean, we have to figure out a way to be kind to the animals that are around us. I thought I'll start with a joke that will cancel me, but I'll just not do it. A lot of influential people, I'll keep it very clean. All right. So, shall we start? Is everyone, yeah? All right. We have the director, we have the actor, we have the cinematographer, and the editor. And, yenappa, these actors want to talk all the time. No? Yeah. Saurabha, first of all, congratulations. This is your first baby. Yes. And we all are very, yeah. And we all are very excited for that. I want to know more about the landscape. Why did you decide to choose the Uttara Kannada? Because, it's a very interesting demographic. Yeah. And what about it made you tell this story?
We could be here all evening. But so my relationship with Uttara Kannada goes back to about a decade ago. There are many things. Just consider Uttara Kannada for a while, the geography of it. Think of the places that are there, right? Gokarna, Yallapura, Sirsi, Siddhapura, Mundugoda. Glorious places, right? Geographically speaking. And then you have the sea, and you have the dense rainforests, evergreen forests. So it's a world in itself. And I was just going there. Of course, you saw the house, right, in the film. Yeah. That's where they live. This is my friend. And about 5 years ago, a casual conversation about human-wildlife relationships happened over a call. We were all going through pandemic, and we had time to talk to people. And over a call, I told her that I'm looking for stories that lie at the intersection of humans and wildlife. And that's when she mentioned Huliyappa. That was about 5-ish years ago. Then I was in full-time jobs, but whenever I could take the time out to travel and visit her place, I did, and we met, I don't know how many people, right? These are just representatives of a whole population that live alongside wildlife. Right. So we started, in a way we have aged with the story, is what I like to say about it. And just meeting people, talking to them, asking them what they had for breakfast, and making them sort of speak without any hesitation, connect with them, truly connect with them. Right. And then sort of we veered the conversation towards Huliyappa. And every person's Huliyappa is different, and that's extraordinary, that's right? Beautiful, that's faith for you. True. It's very private, it's very individual, and it's very moving. Then time had come. Last year we started filming exactly 1 year ago in June.
Wow! And congratulations on that. It's a very quick turnaround time.
I think so. I mean, when you have a team like this.
Yeah, I mean, round of applause to everyone. That's fabulous.
These guys made it possible. Yeah.
But I will ask a question like a wildlife noob that I am. Did you see any tiger? No. Sorry. It's not very good question. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I've got a
Not here. I've seen Huliyappa.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I want to ask the editor, because I think the way the film is cut, Santosh, you have been part of many wildlife movies. Sorry, is movie a right term or wildlife film?
You
is
can
the
say
right
that,
term?
yeah.
Yeah, I can say it,
Especially
right?
if there's a cinematic element.
I
to
have
it.
established I'm a wildlife noob, okay? So excuse me for the terminologies. But tell me how editing this movie was different for you, and what were the challenges?
Right. I think the biggest thing that was different was that it's a very multi-layered film. It seems very simple, but underneath, if you scratch the surface, there are 3 threads going on there, actually. So one thread is about Anusha and Atanu. The second is about the conflict, which we show at the beginning of the film. And the third is about the Huliyappa Puja itself. So weaving these 3 in a way that wasn't confounding to anybody watching it for the first time was, I would say, the biggest challenge and what was the most different in editing this film. The other challenge, I would say, I mean, there are challenges with everything and we kind of tend to exaggerate. So there was nothing of that sort. But I think one thing that perhaps I can point out was that there was an enormous amount of speech to sift through to arrive at the fruit to pluck. So it was hours and hours of footage. And so picking the right things in a way that wouldn't be expository and heavy on information was perhaps a challenge.
You say hours of footage. Could you just give me a number, like what kind of hours are we talking about?
I would say perhaps about 100 hours.
100
Yeah, 100
hours.
to 200 perhaps. Yeah, I mean,
To
that's a very broad range, I know, but I haven't counted it.
And to a generation that is used to 15-second reels, 100 hours seems quite a lot. Rakesh, you are the cinematographer, and I feel every time when I see a documentary film, it's so hard to tap into the real emotion, as opposed to like your wedding photographers who will make sure that they get the right shot and call it candid. I'm pretty sure that you didn't have that liberty. You know, you had to make do with whatever was happening without interrupting. Like, there was a puja happening. You couldn't have done like, please do that. Yeah. So please take us through that. Like, how did that happen?
Okay. I think we let the space for them. You know, we didn't disturb. We didn't go. We want that shot. We want this shot. We don't top angle shots. We gave that gap, and they were very kind to us. They were like, oh, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸೈಡಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. So they were so sweet. And Saurabha and Anusha, they've been going to these places so many times and talking to people so many times. So they were convinced with Saurabha's idea. Even they wanted to tell the story to the world. So that's how easy for me it was to do the what I
Rakesh,
did.
have you ever did any sort of work for weddings?
I mean, I think my dad gave me a work. First job was I think it was a wedding photography.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to
It
tell
was
us
tough,
more?
it was tough.
For you or for the couple?
I mean, for the couple.
For you, of course, you know. But shooting something natural, I think, is far more easier, because I don't think anybody is on cue to perform or anything. I think it's a far more open canvas for you to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We'll move on to Anusha. Anusha, you are probably one of the main reasons why we saw Huliyappa. And congratulations on your... Is this your acting debut?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It is, yeah.
You did fab. Yeah. Fabulous. Anusha, as somebody who has grown up in that area, I want to ask you, you have lost your pets, and it must be very tough to deal with, right? Irrespective of, the bigger cause. We always see, oh, I lost my pet, So I want to ask you, how was it growing up, first of all, in a place like Vagachipani? And also, what is your take on the human-wildlife coexistence?
Yeah. So when we were growing up, when we were there at the place, and I was born there and I grew up there. So it was not really a special thing for us. We had not seen the outside world. Right. I remember seeing a tiger when I was young. It was very inspiring in a way. I put me in some sort of a fear and awe at the same time, which I can't describe. And our pets were going. So there is a place where we come to understand that we are not the biggest species in the world very soon. At our young age, because
Really? I mean,
because you know, let's say I have a dog at our house and leopard has taken it, and I love that dog, but it's not there anymore. But I have to come in terms with it very fast. There is grief, and also there is an understanding that we are not everything. Our pets, just because I love that pet, doesn't mean it's everything, right? So you understand the bigger picture really fast. And I think people from the place I come from, all of them have that realization because of their experience, lived experience. So for us who have, a lot of us who have come outside of the territories around wildlife, who have come from there, can understand this feeling of we are part of a bigger picture, and we kind of try to live with harmony. It's easier if we live with harmony with the wildlife.
True. But I'm pretty sure, like, every time you're, as a child, it's a valid fear.
Yeah.
Like, ಊಟ ಮಾಡು ಇಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೆ ಹುಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. It works, right?
Yes.
Because for once the mothers are not lying.
Yes.
Which is great. So I think that works. Yeah. I want to ask Saurabh, if any of you joined the screening late, please, if you could tell, like, what is it that you want to convey through the film?
From day one, we've been very clear about one thing. We do not want to over-romanticize the idea of coexistence. By that, I mean people go through a lot, and so does wildlife. By that, I also mean there are a lot of people we met who want to get out of the forests. So it's not fair to not give equal importance to that narrative.
Right.
So being inside a forest is a choice, but getting out is also a choice. If I want to go study in Manhattan, so should Anusha or Anusha's kid. So that's one thing. Having said that, we understand the significance of inviolate areas and where wildlife should just have its space. But there has to be a front line somewhere. You increase, you try to avoid fragmentation. There are experts in the room. So, but there will be a front line somewhere. And on those front lines, we believe that faith systems like these can play a very important role in sort of keep that harmony going. Because you see, we've spoken to so many people, right? It's mind-boggling how composed they are. They're even making fun of the loss. And by that I mean, they don't over-admit things. They don't play the victim card. They don't use the word trauma flippantly. These are people who go through adversity every single day, pretty much. And it's very inspiring. It's a very different reality that you inhabit once you get out of Bengaluru, and so yeah, it's a two-pronged message. It's sort of condescending to say a message, but that's what we've tried to convey. There are different kinds of realities, and I think we should do our best to understand all of them and make things easy for both wildlife and humans.
Yeah, I think very well said. Coming to Santosh, we discussed the amount of footage you had, but tell me now, when you look back, do you feel, hey, adon chur hakbidbodagittu? Or because see, at the end of the day, as storytellers, as performers, we always want a little more. So do you feel that way, or do you plan to use it somewhere else? Why not?
No, absolutely. This is exactly the reason why the editor should not be a cinematographer as well. Because as artists, we get too attached to the work that we do, and we want to include everything until the cows come home, whereas that is extremely counterproductive to the efficacy of a film, or any work of art for that matter. In fact, just today we were reading a quote by someone eminent who spoke about how an editor should not be in love with the work of the director. It's a controversial quote, of course. Yeah. But rest assured, I haven't fallen out of love with Huliyappa. I was very much in love. But yes, you have to be ruthless at times.
Yeah.
And there were definitely aspects. It helped that Saurabha sat with me while cutting the film throughout.
Yeah.
So I was able to shorten that feedback loop and understand exactly what she was trying to achieve and keep the editing in line with that rather than being self-indulgent and fancy and having all sorts of clever cuts and things like that. So yeah, that really helped as well. At the end, what we really wanted to do was tie up the beginning to the end. And so there are a couple of Easter eggs in there. If you notice, the film opens with a veteran who's gone through conflict. And the last scene that is the film ends with is that of a youngster. So you have a complete journey there that you have kind of traversed. And at the end, that is really the nub of the story as to the future of humanity is tied to the future of the environment. And that in turn is linked to the future of our children and the people. So I believe the edit achieved that. So I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, round of applause to all the editors in the room. I think it's a really tough job. It's quite challenging. And Rakesh, coming back to you again, you see so many different kinds of people in the film, coming from different backgrounds. I want to ask you, they all look very comfortable. And more often than not, it happens that the minute we see a camera in front of us, we put up an act. You know, we all are acting anyway, in one way or the other, but it just makes us so conscious because not everybody is comfortable in front of the camera. How did you manage to do that? Because they were so raw and so natural. It didn't even seem like there was a script, if there was. And it's amazing to see them like talk so freely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously we didn't take the camera directly and ask them, oh, tell me about Huliyappa, tell me about wildlife, tell me
of
about
course.
conflict.
Yeah. We have other people who do that. We know that. Yeah.
ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ತೋಟ ಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಕಾಡು ಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹತ್ತಿರ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್, ವಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸೋ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಟು ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಓವರ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೌರಭ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅನುಷಾ, ದೇ ಬಿನ್ ವಿಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ 2 or 3 times. And they become so comfortable with us. I could film that. That's why what I did was, freely I could do that.
So they were familiar with the entire team, probably. Yeah. I just wanted to let everyone know we are going to have a couple of questions from you. So make sure that you have a couple of questions with you, so that when we say that, there's no awkward silence. So I'm telling you before I wind up this. So if you have any questions, we are going to take them in a little while. But coming to you, Anusha, I wanted to ask this because I think it's also very important for us to know this aspect of, because your son Atanu, he is, as Santosh said, the film ends with his footage. And, how do you see, what is his relationship with wildlife and the whole, because I think he's growing up there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. Because a lot of city-bred kids don't, the only reference for them as far as any wildlife is concerned is zoo, which is not a great reference, if you ask me. That was the joke I wanted to crack, which would lead to, anyway, I did that. Anusha, please tell me, how are you instilling these values in your son?
Just giving him the environment, I think, so I'm very fortunate that I've been born and brought up there.
Yeah.
So we have that space to, give him.
Right.
So I think that is the most important thing I have done. Everything else is him. He's just learning from the environment.
Right.
I think for children, the most important thing we can give is environment, so that they can pick up.
True.
The pushing things down their throat never works, in my opinion. So that's what.
And is there a way we can make the city-bred kids somewhere go close to this kind of acceptance? Is there a way you would suggest? I know it's a big question, but no pressure. Just
I guess I think even in the urban area, they should be exposed to their environment. whatever they have, right?
True.
It doesn't have to be trees or birds or, fairy things we think
That's
about.
not there anyway.
Yeah, so at least the environment we have, I think kids need to be exposed to so that they have an opinion towards it and they think of us as a, small thing in a
Right,
bigger picture.
a part of a
Yeah.
bigger picture. That's
Yes,
true.
yeah.
Or maybe get them to screenings like this that will
Yeah.
kind of bring them closer to the world that they are not aware of. Even I think questioning would help, like, what if and things like that. And with that, I think I am done with my set of questions. And as I told you, we are going to open this for the audience. Yes, we already have someone. Good, good. Okay, no awkward silences. Yeah. Oh, we have. Yes.
Hi. So my question is like a part 2 of your first question to Rakesh. So yes, with the puja scene, there's so much happening, right? So as a cinematographer, like what was, like your creative process? Like when there's so much happening, like how do you know what to shoot, when to shoot? And, how do you, like I get anxiety and, when I'm in a situation like that, and that kind of hinders my filmmaking. So what do you do in that situation? Like how do you...
Be calm. I don't know what else to do. And observe things like what's happening in your left, what's happening in your center, what's happening in your right. Be calm. What's special happening? I'll kayoditidru. So that was a key moment for us. We wanted that shot. So observe things. That's what I do in the field. That's how it helps me. It might help in a different way for you.
Hi.
Could you please stand up so that, everybody...
Okay, I mean, my height is
please.
extreme.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice detailing to the whole thing, and I liked it. Very beautiful shot, like you said, the starting and the ending. There was one clip which appealed to me where he said, the generations now have moved out and we'll have to carry it forward. With subtle nuances of all of this puja and stuff coming in, how does the modern... Like the perspective is so beautiful that we fear nature and we also like coexist and sustain each other. But there was also elements of idol worship and stuff like that, which could be very rooted towards in certain way. So how did that work? Because there was very images of that in the film. So was that a conscious choice to have those kind of elements, or is it just, yeah?
It was all there. We just showed it. So that's what we keep saying. We even called it a retelling because we are not telling the story. The story has been told from generation to generation. And it is so vibrant. And also, mind you, it doesn't matter if you're pious. It doesn't matter if you're an agnostic or atheist, whatever. There's that energy because so many people are coming there, gathering there. And they're coming with an intention. And it's so moving. That energy really does something to you. If you're not cynical, if you're not skeptical, you just sort of if you dare to be vulnerable, to be affected by it. So what we did was just show that. Like, these guys were so incredible and, like he said, calm and patient. They just showed what was happening. We didn't even talk to those people about, okay, can you please drag this a little more? Or that ritual, can you quickly get done with it? No. We were just there. We had the privilege of being witnesses, let me put it that way. They allowed us to be there, to witness it, and that's what we did. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
We have another question, yes, here.
Hi. Yeah, beautiful movie. So great to see
Hi.
good friends on the stage. Yeah, a question, but before that, a comment. I think I was a bit nervous because the whole story happens. I think you beautiful put Sonu. The landscape where it happens is not very familiar for anyone. I mean, Anusha, you grew up there. Saurabh, you've been there many times, and you've been there. But in 15 minutes to set the context of the place and then tell the story, it's always difficult. And the long movies have this luxury, right? Like 3 hours, 2.5 hours movie, you set a context, then tell the story. It's done beautifully because you told the story visually with the context coming in, but also parallelly people speaking. So very beautifully done. Great work, Rakesh, Santosh. My question, Santosh, for you. Over the last, I don't know how many, probably 2 decades, you've been seeing tigers in every single place, probably on the planet where tigers are alive, right? So different sizes, shapes, and in different stories. And when shooting Huliyappa, it's a story about tigers, where you don't see tigers actually, right? So when you're editing, I'm sure you might have involved a lot of conversations with the team that was shooting, and even you might have been there also. Were there any layerings that you sort of discovered about the tigers that you didn't know before? Maybe at meta level, at physics, I don't know, philosophical level, because you've been in all the landscapes where tigers are there. If you shot, I know that's part of your, like, probably more than part of your life as well. So just want to know Huliyappa's story from a tiger's perspective, like what was something that stood out for you?
Right. Thanks, Sripati, for that wonderful question. I guess one of the remarks that one of the interviewees made sort of sums it up the best. Or rather not, let me give you this instead. So during the filming, and I was present, like you said, as well as the edit and during the whole process, I asked a lot of people in the know that how do they retain their faith despite seeming lapses in its efficacy, in the sense that when animals die, despite doing this puja, I mean, that's what the rational mind or logical mind would want to know, right? And I have a functional one in one half of the brain. So I keep asking this question, and not a single person has been able to answer it. And I have tried this in other landscapes as well, in Madhya Pradesh, etc. So that shows that there is something beyond our intellectual capability at work here. And the tigers are sort of an encapsulation of that. I mean, it's not just a flagship wildlife animal, creature. I think it's a flagship of our collective consciousness. Probably that is why it affects us so much when we see it. That is why we go mad about photographing it all over the place. And that is why so much of it makes it to our mythologies and scriptures and things like that. So I think it has a very firm grip on our consciousness itself, which is something that I got a new perspective on during the making of this film. And that perspective I totally had missed. So thanks to Saurabha, Anusha, and everybody on the team for introducing me to that.
Are there any more questions?
I've got a question. Congratulations in the first place to all of you. And this question goes to all of you again. It's going to be one question for all of you. And the question is, right now in your life, what's the conservation philosophy that you practice? Because I believe that what is not practiced does not exist. Okay, so what's the philosophy that you action in your current life in terms of conservation? And the other question that I have is to Saurabha. And I think you must have done the planning because, you know, generally they say on the light note that I must say this, that if you don't plan, then things end up as a BBMP project. So I just want to know what was the planning that you did? And the question to all of you, and if you can answer the one philosophy that you practice currently in terms of conservation.
Okay. With all due respect, I don't think conservation can be a philosophy or based on a philosophy. Although philosophy is a beautiful word. It means love for wisdom or study of wisdom. Wisdom is definitely needed, but not philosophy, I think. And of course, we have some absolute stalwarts in this room. Dr. Ullas Karant is here and Dr. Kriti Karant is here, and they are experts in conservation. Our role, so I think each of us has a different role to play, and it's about finding our role in this whole big web of life. So I may not be able to be on the front line and douse a fire, a wildfire that's going on, which is conservation. I may not be able to rescue a tiger, tranquilize it, and take it to a rescue center, which is also conservation. I may not be able to prevent habitat loss. I may not be able to do any of these things which are critical to conservation on the ground, but I can make a film about it. And that is a valid contribution. So, and it doesn't stop there. I think there are numerous ways, perhaps ways that we don't even know yet, especially with artificial intelligence coming in, etc., which are equally valid ways of conservation. So my sincere request to everybody present here and beyond would be to find it.
All of us we concur with him, first of all. So we are all storytellers. We are here. So, yeah. And also small things, right? To be mindful when you're on a safari could also, nothing is small, is something that we want to say. Yeah.
The second part to this question.
Oh, the planning. In a way, I don't know, this might sound a little, funny also, but we sort of let the story take us. Plan, yeah, technical stuff, like these guys took care of, the cameras, equipment, whatever. But we just wanted to spend time with people. We were not in a hurry to make this film, let's put it that way. Like I said, we've aged with the story. We have met so many people. We would just stop a cowherd on the street and talk to him. And it's been an extraordinary experience. And these people, okay, and one more thing if I can add, the way they speak itself is so profound and poetic, right? You heard one man say, "Adra sav tum tu hoitu." How do you translate this into English, tell me? If you're a Kannadiga, you know how profound that is. Sav tum tu, 2 words, right? So just listening to them has been very moving and inspiring. And yeah, with the level of tolerance and even love they have for wildlife is extraordinary. So plan, yeah, last year we started shooting, that was the plan, and we wanted to make sure that, so this happens once, the puja happens once a year. So if we didn't get the shots that we wanted, we had to wait for another year, and we were ready for that. We did not want to disturb them, we did not want to interrupt the flow of the puja. So that was the plan, to not bug them, to not irritate them, to not interrupt them, to not disturb them while they're doing their thing. That was the plan. And like I said, everybody is so self-driven. They did what they had to do, and they gave their best. So that's how you see what you see today.
We have time for 2 more questions. Yes, please.
Yeah, I just have a question probably for Saurabha. So my question is, we saw in the movie how the humans who've mostly been impacted by carnivores probably picking up their animals at home or attacking someone have turned this into a deity that they worship. But most of the urban population, for example, when a wildlife photographer puts up a picture of a tiger, the first question they ask is, "Tiger yeno madadilva nimge?" So, and sort of demonized or villainized carnivores in the urban areas, while the people who have actually been impacted by it have turned it into a deity that they worship. So, such an impactful story, do you have plans, or how do you plan on making this bigger so that the wider audience get it, so that they're as privileged as all of us to witness something like that?
Thank you, that means a lot. So we want to screen the film in schools and colleges mainly, and we're already we're talking to these remote schools where kids actually live alongside wildlife, especially in Yallapura and Sirsi. We are going to do that. Now, summer holidays are happening, so we have time. And we're going to do some screenings in Mangaluru, Mysuru as well. I mean, up to anybody here, you know, who can enable screening and conversations around this film, please do so. We are new to this, and any kind of support is appreciated. Yeah, we want to tell the story, basically, to anybody. And by the way, the other thing that you mentioned, you know, how we demonize, or this is something we have discussed at length. You know, my colleagues are here from the conversation organizations that I worked with. Language does play a role, and we are very careful in the way we articulate our experiences. Like, for instance, even using a word like dangerous. I mean, the tiger is just doing its thing. So be mindful of the language, right? That's one contribution that we can make as storytellers, because we are writers, and that's what we can take care of. By the way, please do talk to experts in the room. Some of them have been doing incredible work, you know, in different landscapes, studying snow leopards, lion-tailed macaques, etc. And yeah, we have Dr. Karans, both the Karans here, so talk to them. Yeah, that's about it. Screenings, yeah, we will have more. We want to talk to kids, most importantly. Yeah, thank you.
Ma'am, you had a question. You had raised your hand, yeah.
Firstly, such a visually striking docu-film, and huge round of applause for the filmmakers, because, and especially Saurabha, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Saurabha, as a debutante, I think it's a wonderfully striking piece for you to come forward with the first time, and I think you've made that impression on people. So beautiful job. So my question to, I think, all of the people here on the dais is that when, as filmmakers, how do you navigate between documenting belief and also evading and avoiding the exoticization that most docu-filmmakers exotify it, right? So how did you manage and navigate between documenting that belief and evading that exoticization, especially when you're translating local spirituality into the global audience? So how did that happen?
Brilliant question. Can I take this actually? There was a point we wanted to make. So we were filming and we didn't know how we will put it all together, right? There was one moment of clarity for us when we were filming the Go Puja. So we saw these kids, putting Kumkum Archana on the Go. I told Santosh, we will not have a voiceover for this film, right? It's not like it's the first time. There are documentaries like that. The reason we did that was because we did not want to impose our own voice. Somewhere adding, bringing in a narrator or doing voiceover. Like you said, you asked if there was a script. No, there was no script. We sat with the footage and then sort of put it all together. So we did not want to do the voiceover because, it's their story. By the way, how wonderful they are as storytellers, right? They're such good storytellers. You don't need another layer of someone else's voice coming in. So you're right, we have no right to sensationalize anything. That's also something we consciously avoid. We just as a matter of fact, like how they said, yeah, hodkondu hoytu yen madakagatte. Just as a matter of fact. So that's what we tried to do. There is no need. It's like you said, it's already striking. It is so, when you're there, go to these places. They're 8 hours away, 9 hours away. Just stand there, just talk to these people and just feel that energy because it's there. So you just show it. There's no need to sensationalize anything or exotify anything.
Do we have any more questions? Yeah. Yeah, we'll come. How many more? We'll just... There's one here. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Somebody raised their hand here? Here? Yes. Yes, after him? Yeah. You can go. Wow, I get to decide.
My question is about the iconography. This Huliyappa is like no other tiger I have seen before. There is such a childlike, portrayal of this Huliyappa. Has any art historian looked at it and dated it, meaning estimated when it was carved?
Wonderful question. I hope that happens. At least as far as we know, Huliyappa has not been documented as widely as Wagoba has, for instance, right? A lot of us know Wagoba from Maharashtra, but Huliyappa, we haven't found much. There are a couple of very vague articles in the newspapers, local newspapers, that too, in Yallapura Taluk. But I haven't. Do you want to take this up? Or I don't think. Yeah, maybe we can talk to Subrairu about this later. But nothing that we found, at least, so far. Yeah.
And we are down to the last question today. But I think all of them will be available.
Yeah, we'll be out. You can
if you
talk to
have
us.
any questions, you can ask them personally. Yeah, please, go ahead.
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಕಂಗ್ರ್ಯಾಚುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಸೌರಭ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಮೊದಲನೇ ಬೇಬಿ 12 ಮಂತು. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಜೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆಲಿವರ್ಡ್ ಎ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಬೇಬಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ 4 years ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 1 years ಆಫ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ನೀನು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಟಫ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ 1 year ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸೀಡ್ ಅ ಥಾಟ್ which striked in your mind. So next time cinema nodbekadre, will you be a commentator or a director?
Neither. Please leave me alone, I would say. Illa, I know what you mean. Like I said, these are the kind of stories that dispel a sense of cynicism or skepticism and sort of makes you, softens you, basically. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Not a commentator, definitely, because we know how hard it is. Guys, you do a 90-second reel, you know how difficult it is. So forget an entire film. Okay, so, but yeah, challenges, Andre, we love doing this so much. It didn't feel like a challenge. I mean, we had to carry these huge equipment to some really remote places, but it was all fun. People were so kind and they were so welcoming. So, yeah, I don't want to, again, give a sensational answer to this because there is none. It was fun, so it didn't feel like a challenge, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Outside. Let's make way for the next
Thank
event.
you. And a huge round of applause. Santosh, Rakesh, Anusha, and Saurabha, and to all of you for making this evening very special. And I hope, Saurabha, you make more films or documentaries. Sorry about the word, but yeah, it's been fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you BIC
For doing this.
for a platform. And Saurabha, you want to take from
BIC, thank you so much, Vikram especially, and Sandhya, great job. Thank you so much for this. Maybe Atanu wants to say something and we will. Yeah. Thank you, Helu. Thank you, Helu. Thank you, Helu. Thank you.
Thank you.
And on that note, a huge thanks to the Huliyappa team and for Sonu for anchoring this conversation.